Alright guys, in my deep dive of learning more WoW lore, WoW stuff, of course we have to talk about Anduin, one of the main characters of the story. Even before I started looking into WoW stuff, a lot of people were saying, I've heard from, groups saying, how Anduin's, a little crybaby, he cries in every cinematic, like he's just this soft king. So Bellular has miraculously brought this video out, the tragic life of Anduin Wrynn, about 2 weeks ago. I'm kind of late on it. I'm gonna give this a look and see exactly why do people think the way they think about Anduin. Does he really cry in every cinematic? I mean, I don't know anything really that much about Anduin other than what was shown at the War Within saga, like that trailer, and I mean, of course, every other cinematic, but like a real deep dive, really nothing too crazy other than what happened to Varian, his dad. Let's give it a look.
Story of Anduin's life in one video. That's today's challenge. Listen on and you'll understand all that you need to know for World Soul Saga, and you'll catch up on anything you've missed.
Cool.
So, this is Anduin's story. Anduin was born into an era of hope. Stormwind had just been rebuilt. The Wrynn line was squarely on the throne. And Varian's son was heir to all this promise, the honor, the legacy of this kingdom, so much so that he was named after Stormwind's greatest hero, Anduin Lothar. But tragedy struck.
Also, Anduin was actually named after a hero of Stormwind. I didn't even know that. Yeah, and that's like the main statue from, like, when you walk into the gates. I'm surprised. I should have just clicked on that and actually read it, because I'm pretty sure like there's a plaque. I think, yeah, like a little yellow plaque that tells you like what these statues were about. I didn't even click it.
Early in his life, when the Stonemasons Guild, having recently not been paid for the repair of Stormwind following the wars, sparked a riot. Tiffin, Anduin's mother, beloved by the people, went before the rioters, trying to plead for a solution. She was hit in the head with a stone. She died. Varian's response was a cavalry charge on the rioters. And that day, the Defias Brotherhood was born. And of course, today's sponsor, squarespace.com/Bellular.
And of course, yeah,
love shipping new features, and there's
look, I like you, Bellular, but yeah, we're gonna have to skip this ad, buddy. Yeah.
With, of course, their e-commerce, all the different fonts. You can send your site live after you've built it for free.
I mean, but if you guys want to use Squarespace, use this link. 14-day free trial, all that jazz, 10% off.
Gaming for
promo code Bellular
off the annual plan.
You guys know.
Squarespace.com/Bellular Gaming. The first time we interacted with Anduin as players, he stood beside Bolvar and Katrana Prestor in Stormwind Keep.
Wait, Bolvar, wasn't he like the second Lich King in that cinematic I watched? I believe he was. Yeah, Bolvar. Dude.
Held power, but he was only a child. By this point in the timeline, Anduin Wrynn had actually disappeared. All they knew is he went to a peace summit with the Horde and he didn't come back. And painfully, Anduin's childlike hope is the very thing that inspired Varian to give Thrall's new Horde a chance. Unbeknownst to Anduin and others, there was in fact a snake at court. Katrana Prestor was not a noble. She was actually the Black Dragon Onyxia, and along with Nefarian, she planned to take over the kingdom. It was, in fact, her who had stopped payments to the stonemasons, her who sparked the riots, who's even to say she didn't.
Wait, so that's how the Defias like actually came to be. I thought it was because the nobles, like, they legitimately didn't have the money. It was Onyxia. Like, I haven't even met like Onyxia. I'm guessing this is some kind of boss, some kind of raid. I don't think I've ever heard of the raid Onyxia. I don't know. I think this is a raid though. She sounds like she would be a boss.
The hand that killed Tiffin Wrynn. Onyxia's goal.
Wait.
Was to Onyxia's goal, in fact, her who had stopped payments to the stonemasons, her who sparked the riots, who's even to say she didn't guide the hand that killed Tiffin Wrynn. Onyxia's goal at this stage was to sow chaos and weaken the throne. Her next step in this plan was the kidnapping of Anduin Wrynn on his way to those peace talks. These acts will
so Varian was kidnapped, but also I don't know why But like, what was the reason for Anixia and her reasoning of doing all of this? Of, I guess, sowing these seeds of destruction. I guess to maybe overthrow Stormwind so she can conquer it in some way.
Anduin to being the king, make Bolvar the regent, and allow her to get more control.
Oh,
Now, the
okay.
story of Varian
So yeah,
Wrynn
she wanted
is
control.
truly
Okay.
massive. Today, though, we're focusing on Anduin's perspective, because in those early years, it was him, Bolvar, Katrana, and essentially court life. Now, of course, over in Kalimdor, a gladiator going by Logosh had made a name for himself. Not that, of course, this would help our alliance cast much now. As it stood, Anduin lost his father, the kingdom was beginning to fray, its social fabric and institutions eroded by a black dragon plot. One day, just like that, Varian returned to Stormwind. The story provided was that the crown
Well, how did he get
paid
out?
a
How
massive
was he free?
ransom. In reality, that ransom went straight to Katrana. More resources that she could use to undermine the king.
Hold on, let me see if I can read a little bit of this. Over a year ago, Stormwind's king departed the city on a diplomatic mission, did not return. Moved to, let's see, I know it was crowned king, yeah. Today his citizens crowned the city squares, cheering madly. Part of the Majo Presidency. Okay.
Kingdom. Something, though, was amiss. This Varian was different. He was vain, arrogant, loose with coin, loyal to Katrana Prestor. Anduin hated this new version of his father, begged him to change, to actually help the people, but he wouldn't. Little did Anduin know, the man in front of him wasn't the full Varian. In fact, after the kidnapping over in Kalimdor, botched magic had divided him into two. This man was a shade of Varian, one whose soul was sundered between everything noble, vicious, and uncontrollable, and everything weak, vain, and easy to manipulate.
Wait. So Varian was essentially split into two people. I didn't even know that was possible in World of Warcraft.
The noble, vicious, uncontrollable Varian went on to become Logosh, the gladiator. The other one, the worst of Varian, that is the man who returned home to be controlled by Anixia. Anduin knew something was wrong, but he was helpless. What could a child do? How would he even be believed? By now, the kingdom's degradation was hastening. Things looked bad. However, one day, another strange man named Logosh, styled after the wild god Goldorin, appeared.
Bro, look at that art. That old art. Ugh, dude, that's sick, man. That's so sick. Dude, I probably need to pick up like some of the like old like World of Warcraft comics. Because like I can't I guess it's like more of like that 90s style art. Like where people like still kind of sat down and hand drew art. I mean, people still do nowadays, but like mostly it's things online, and it's you can kind of say it's a bit better in some cases, but like that old color, that old shading, incredible.
Forged in the gladiatorial pits of Kalimdor, now reunited with his memories and ready to reclaim his kingdom. Logosh was Varian Wrynn. He revealed Katrana for the black dragon that she was, slew her guards, and forced her to flee. But at a very last moment, she kidnapped Anduin and flew him to her lair. Anduin did prove to be surprisingly wily for a young noble, immediately breaking free and hiding around the lair waiting for help. Help that would come in the form of both halves of Varian fighting side by side to free him. And whenever Logosh was seemingly about to be killed by a magical blow, the other Varian stepped in to take the blow. Logosh did not want him to and tried to save him. This led to both of them being hit, and Anixia's magic backfiring, reuniting the two Varians, merging each copy's sword to form Charlemagne, of course the sword that Anduin wields today. And with that, Anduin
Wait, go back. So essentially, because one variant because one copy of Varian stepped in front of the other, the magic of Anixia backfired. Huh. I guess somehow it works.
take the blow. Logosh did not want him to and tried to save him. This led to both of them being hit, and Onyxia's magic backfiring, reuniting the two Varians, merging each copy's sword to form Charlemagne. Of course, the sword that Anduin...
Wait. The sword. So that's why in, what was it? So that's why in, I want to say it was Old Soldier. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Was that Old Soldier? I think that was Old Soldier. Give me a second. Give me a second. Reckoning. That's what it was.
Somebody to build you a Shopify store because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked
Yo,
products.
so, wait a minute. So essentially, that's why the sword can split.
Stand. You just keep failing. The Horde will endure. The Horde is strong.
So that's why the sword can split. See, that's why it's best to dual wield.
The Horde is nothing.
Also, they did Sarfine dirty. They should have completely stomped, Sylvanas out at this exact moment right there. But that's a video for another day. All right, where was I?
Anduin wields today. And with that, Anduin had his father back. With both sides reformed, you would think he would be at ease, but he was in fact not. This new Varian was also disappointing to him. Fierce,
Really?
brutal, warlike, which of course makes sense. Think about the Logosh side of his personality. Of course, like many young boys trying to step out of their father's shadow, the young Anduin defined himself as his father's opposite. Where Varian fought and brought war, Anduin made amends and fostered peace. With the return of Varian and the re-emergence of the Lich King, Bolvar and Varian left to fight in Northrend. Bolvar did not return. Of course, believing him dead, Anduin was devastated.
Yeah, dude, I still need to look at some of these other like in-game cinematics.
Bolvar had kept Anduin right in Varian's absence, had been somewhat of a father figure throughout those years. By now, though, a somewhat older Anduin was beginning to understand his father Varian, that he wasn't an evil man, that he did what he did for reasons that he deeply felt were right. Varian, in turn, began to understand Anduin more, making him a diplomat for the kingdom and sending him to Ironforge. But secretly, Varian somewhat hoped that the dwarves would put some iron into the young boy. But in reality, this is where Anduin's long career of making friends and brokering peace would begin. He grew close.
Bro, he's
to
still a
Magni
peacemaker no
Bronzebeard.
matter where
He
you
was
send
even
him.
there the day Magni was turned into a stone in an old earthen ritual. But the most
Yo, Magni was turned into a popsicle? I don't know a lot about Magni. I know of Magni.
Peace would begin. He grew close to Magni Bronzebeard. He was even there the day Magni was turned into a stone in
Why? Why?
an old earthen ritual. But the most important event was Anduin's first contact with the light. It was just a feeling at first, but he felt that destiny was calling him, and he thought that destiny was to be a priest of the holy light. Now, with Magni being a gemstone, Moira Thessarian, leader of the Dark Iron Dwarves, took...
Bellular, that was indeed messed up. Called the man a gemstone.
over Ironforge. She pressed her son's rightful claim as emperor. In a power play, she took Anduin hostage, a move that enraged Varian so much that he broke into Ironforge through the deep run tram and put a blade to Moira's throat.
Damn.
Even as hostage, Anduin begged for peace, defended Moira, and pleaded that technically she was right and that Varian, human king, really had no right to do any of this.
I mean, but she kidnapped Anduin. Wait, what? How was...
Into Ironforge through the deep run trap. But the most important event
Wait,
was Anduin's
what?
first contact with the light. It was just a feeling at first, but he felt that destiny was calling him. And he thought that destiny was to be a priest of the holy light. With Magni being a gemstone, Moira Thessarian, leader of the Dark Iron Dwarves,
Marit the Saurian. Okay.
took over Ironforge. She pressed her son's rightful claim as emperor. In a power play, she took Anduin hostage, a move that enraged Varian so much that he broke into Ironforge through the deep run tram and put a blade to Moira's throat. Even as hostage, Anduin begged for peace, defended Moira, and pleaded that technically she was right and that Varian, human king, really had no right to do any of this. And the sides,
I mean, but why would she kidnap him if she was right?
Compromise ended up saving that day, and the Council of the Three Hammers, the ruling body of the dwarves to this very day, was formed. And this,
Dude,
is
there's
a
so much
frustrating
about this
example
game I need to
of
catch up on.
Anduin helping to broker a peace. Anduin quickly became a diplomatic asset for Stormwind, and as the Cataclysm drew nearer, Varian was forging the
Okay, so Anduin basically just became Alphanal.
alliance into a unified military. The final
diplomat.
component force to be folded into the new order were the Kaldori and their new allies, the Draenei.
Ooh,
The
Draenei.
summit was called in Darnassus, and Anduin got to walk amongst Azeroth's greatest. There, he found the prophet Velen, who stood in stark contrast to his father. Here was a man with ancient wisdom and a deep connection to the light. By the end of the summit, Anduin refused to return to Stormwind. He instead stayed with Velen to study the light. Anduin spoke with the Naru in the Exeter and was even visited by them in his dreams. They told him that each life was a universe to protect, and that became his belief, that life should be preserved at all costs. It will take some time, but that idealism would eventually be beaten and reforged into a different take on the character of Anduin. Still, even for Anduin, Velen was too far-sighted. In the face of Deathwing and the many problems that faced Azeroth right now, all Velen could do was think about the Burning Legion. So, Anduin took what he could from the Prophet and returned to Stormwind. Varian would continually push his son, eventually sending him to the Twilight Highlands, where Anduin revealed a Twilight's Hammer Spyring operating in Stormwind. It was no surprise overall to see
Bro, that's so
Anduin
crazy. Like, I've seen, I guess, older Anduin and kid Anduin. But I just, like, I don't know if that's teenager or just young adult Anduin.
places like war councils.
Weird,
by the
just
time
like a
that
weird-
Garrosh was given command of the Horde.
A weird character
Of course,
model.
this faction war had been declared in Undercity after Putris's betrayal at the Wrathgate, but it didn't truly begin until things properly broke down. Where this war truly began, though, was the Horde blockading the Night Elven coasts of Kalimdor. But the ultimate blow in that war would be the bombing of Theramore. After that, Jaina came to Stormwind. She demanded that the Alliance wipe all orcs from the planet. Anduin, of course, argued
Wait.
against her.
Okay, see, now this is getting good. Go back.
That war would be the bombing of Theramore. After that, Jaina came to Stormwind. She demanded that the Alliance wipe all orcs from the planet.
Bro, what? Bro, Jaina was such like a hard... What's the word I'm looking for? She was such a... I mean, even back in the original Warcraft. Like what? Warcraft 3. Like, she was such a proponent on actually having these two sides work together. So to see this come full circle and for her just to become like a Jaegerist, bro, that's... Damn. Wipe every orc off...
Anduin, of course, argued against her. Even Varian did. She called Anduin a gullible child. But this led Anduin and Varian to understand something. Number one, they agreed. Number two, with Jaina, they saw that even the very best could be twisted by pain. And as this war blossomed, Anduin's diplomatic mission was run aground on Pandaria, where he quickly got himself lost, learning about the local culture. Pandaria is where we began our hunt for the White Pawn, SI7's code name for Anduin, and it's where players would start to meet and interact with the character a lot more. He met Wrynn Whitepaw immersing himself in Jade Forest life. He'd gotten so involved that we had to take a dream brew just to find him. SI7 demanded Anduin return
What's
to
a dream brew?
Stormwind, but Anduin was his own man now. Mind-controlling the SI7 agents with his priestly powers, he made his move, giving them the slip, determined to study the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, for he felt his destiny lay in these new lands. Anduin's journey wouldn't be easy. He was taken by Nazgrim, he fought the Shah, studied at the Temple of the Red Crane, he brought the factions together to meet the August Celestials. Work he soon felt was rather doomed with the arrival of Varian and the Alliance war fleet on Pandaria, because with patch 5.1, it was full war. And as that war escalated, the Shah...
Dude, this looks incredible. A lot of people say that, Miss Pandaria was pretty, I'm still at least excited to just go through like every single expansion, even Shadowlands, and just see for myself, But so far, this looks pretty good. This looks very good. I mean, stage-wise.
thrived and Pandaria worsened. Anduin warns his father of this, that the Shah feed off anger and hate, but for Varian, it was a different situation, telling Anduin he fought out of love for what was right, not out of hate. And while the Shah may have struggled to see that in all of his troops, and perhaps Anduin didn't fully understand his father, this was a lesson about the man that he would learn. Soon after the war escalated, the Divine Bell enters the story. This ancient artifact was very important to Pandaria, but for Anduin, it would be a chance for heroism. After a long storyline involving Jaina purging Dalaran, and honestly, a bit of a political thriller going on.
Wait, what happened?
The story.
Why?
This ancient artifact was very important to Pandaria, but for Anduin, it would be a chance for heroism. After a long storyline involving Jaina purging Dalaran, and honestly, a bit of a political thriller going on.
Were there orcs in Dalaran? Dalaran? Because I thought Dalaran was nuked, right? Yeah, Dalaran was nuked. Bro, what the It's going to be very interesting to see what happened to Jaina. Dude.
The showdown happened. Garrosh was right about to ring the bell, which would have unleashed a Shah calamity. Anduin pleaded with him, tried as hard as he could.
Oh, he tried to talk no jutsu him.
Stepped in front of the war chief and begged for an end to the madness. Striking the bell with the harmonic mallet, he managed to turn the chaos of Garrosh into pure harmony. While Garrosh's plan had been thwarted, Garrosh didn't take the point. He crashed the bell down on Anduin, crushing him and fully believing it a killing blow, letting us live so that we could go and tell Varian that his son was dead. Garrosh, of course, wanted Varian to get angry, wanted him to start being rash and make mistakes.
Bro, Garrosh, he did not care. This man wanted every single piece of smoke, every single piece of char grill. Like retail, a lot of people complain about retail WoW. I get it. But this sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie, this sounds pretty good.
Anduin, as we know, survived.
Okay, he's right. Yeah, right.
In the Tavern of the Mists, healing.
I mean, of course he survived.
Where he would strike up a friendship with Rathian, a mysterious, arrogant young black dragon fresh in the scene with strong opinions about where the world should go. And despite being very different, the two did form that friendship. They were both smart, they both held long conversations, chewed the fat, they got to know each other. And through our time with Rathian, we would learn a lot. We would see him eat the heart of Lei Shen, absorb a fragment of Aman'Thul, and even alert us to the final Titan, Azeroth.
Bro, look at these shoulders, bro. Where can I get these shoulders in that cape? That's fire. I want this outfit. I want this armor.
To him, as a black dragon, all that mattered was saving the world. Unfortunately for us, he was rather extreme. And Anduin would prove useful to his plan. The Alliance won a decisive victory at the Siege of Orgrimmar. In the throne room, as Varian stared down the Horde leadership, he had a chance to end them. Anduin went to his side, begging for the Horde's life. Varian said...
Again, bro, it's so weird.
Varian said...
It's so weird seeing, like, young Anduin.
To his plan. The Alliance won a decisive victory at the Horde leadership. He had a chance to end them. Anduin went...
Bro, why does he look like this? I mean, I know it's not important. Like, it's a small, minute thing, but seeing Anduin from the cinematics to the actual like in-game stuff, It's jarring.
to his side, begging for the Horde's life. Varian said,
Like Varian, he looks
"He's going
kind of
to do what
similar.
the king must."
Like he looks
Pragmatists
very,
may have
you know,
argued to
almost the same.
dismantle the Horde, but
I don't know what they did with Anduin, but I think they kind of missed the mark.
ultimately what we saw is a Varian who had learned from his son. This peace would, broadly speaking, last. It only broke down at the end of the Legion, but of course, by the end of the Legion, the Horde had a different war chief with different goals. Clearly, our story is that Anduin rounded out his father's warlike edges, whilst in turn, Anduin himself developed.
Guys, don't play this. Don't. War Heroes, do not play this. Like, you can already tell, like, this. Look at this crap.
A will to fight. Garrosh, of course, was made to stand trial for his crimes, and as one of his victims, Anduin took the stand. When questioned, Anduin admitted he thought Garrosh could change.
Who did this art? Bro, Garrosh Hellscream. This man is an absolute unit. Like, his arms is bigger than my body. He has no neck. Bro, this just makes me want to work out. Like, I feel that feels, dude, an absolute monster, bro. Who draws this stuff? Like the early WoW stuff. Who did this? This is incredible. This is, bro, art team, sound team, carrying. They're absolutely carrying this game. This dude's a monster. Like his pecs, they start here and they end on his shoulders. I need to go to the gym, bro. I need to go to the fucking gym.
But that's not the only mistake he would make that day. He also invited
Absolute
Rathian to the trial.
beast.
And it was Rathian who broke Garrosh out of chains, split the timelines, and sent him to Draenor to kick off the Iron Horde. Anduin never made it to Draenor. He didn't take
So that's how.
part
Okay, that's how the
in
Iron Horde
that,
got
but he
kind
was
of
at the forefront
formed.
of alliance diplomacy against the Legion's return. He didn't go to the Broken Shore either. Rather, he nervously waited to hear from Varian, who, along with Sylvanas, was charging headlong into a suicidal attempt to stop the Legion.
But that was fucked
Varian
up.
died to Felguard spears and Gul'dan's. Anduin now was not only King of Stormwind, he was
Bro,
also
that-
High King.
Absolutely the most awful cinematic, apart from Sarfang, that I've seen, bro. And I don't even know that much of Varian. But he died an absolute hero. I guess that's all I need to know.
Of the Alliance. The amount of responsibility on his shoulders was absurd.
Wait a minute, when did Anduin go to the Iron Shores? Was it the Iron Shores? Yeah, I believe it was the Iron Shores. When was he there?
On his shoulders was absurd. Faction war was not the immediate concern, but with Sargeras' defeat and the emergence of Azerite, everything changed. The destructive potential of this new material spurred on fears the other side would weaponize it, thrusting the world into a situation that soon would spark into all-out war. A war that, largely told via command table text, was described as one of Azeroth's most brutal. No matter what Anduin did during this time, people died. His decisions had consequences. Send a fleet to Lordaeron, and the Horde can get Zandalar. Tell Tyrande to have caution, get Teldrassil burnt down. Many decisions he would make, counsel he would give, would feel right at the time, but would only lead to death. A tug of war was reflected in his advisors. Velen, who taught him about the light, but was perhaps too far-sighted and cautious. And Gen, who was a warlord turned worgen with anger issues. Those old men had some influence. Anduin, though, had his own way. And throughout the war, he used his knack for connection to bring peace. Though one thing was very clear. To him, Sylvanas felt a lost cause. From Anduin's perspective, for no reason, at what should have been a simple peace summit to reunite human and Forsaken families, split by Arthas' actions, she went ballistic and caused a slaughter. By the time we see the battle for Lordaeron, he's a resolved man. someone who is comfortable in their armor and their crown, or at the very least wears them aided by a sense of purpose. This is an Anduin ready to fight the war because at this stage he knows Sylvanas is evil. He knows he needs to do what is right. And that is when he met Saurfang. They were worlds apart. Varrock was a veteran from Draenor. He drank the blood of Manoroth. Yet, Varian still told his son that Varrock Saurfang represented the best of the Horde. Varrock at this stage
Really?
wanted
Wow.
a noble death at the hands of the Alliance, but instead Anduin imprisoned him. It took
Bro, I rather Saurfang had a more nobler death from the Alliance than the butchery they did with him versus Sylvanas. Like I'd rather, man, I'd rather.
but he broke through
Nah, yeah, you guys can say that. Oh, Saurfang, he stood on 10 toes, left like an absolute Chad. True. I still think he was done dirty.
the old orc.
But again, video for another day.
And when Anduin secured that bond, he set Saurfang free, making sure Matthias Shaw changed patrol paths and got guards drunk so that Varrock could make the slip, escape Stormwind, and return to the Horde a hero. The pair went on to lead a rebellion against Sylvanas that freed the Horde. Anduin reached across decades of hatred and inspired Saurfang to do what was right, rather than just what he was honor and duty bound to do. Saurfang sacrificed himself ultimately to show the Horde how hollow Sylvanas was. And Anduin carried his corpse into Orgrimmar.
Wait, I'm pretty sure the Horde knew how hollow Sylvanas was prior to this, with her going ballistic. I believe that was at Lordaeron when she slaughtered all those people.
Ballistic and caused a slaughter.
Wait, where was that?
Sylvanas felt a lost cause. From Anduin's perspective, for no reason, at what should have been a simple peace summit to reunite human and Forsaken families, split by Arthas' actions, she went ballistic and caused a slaughter.
Yeah, at that point, I'm pretty sure the Horde would like kind of figure out that, hey, peace summit, everyone's trying to mend things, and you're just gonna pop off. Maybe right there, like they could kind of tell that she was a little bit, I don't know.
Anduin took hard lessons from into Orgrimmar, along with Rokan, Thrall, and the best of what it meant to be the Horde. In a way, all brought together.
Still, bro, no. Like, thinking about it now, bro, no. I still stand by what I said, bro. I still stand by what I said. No clink, clink, bro. No clink, clink. I believe as soon as Saurfang fell, game on. At that time, the Makara was over. He's done. Like, it's like, I mean, I saw the comments for this reaction. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's against the rules." Like, the thing is, I'm not talking about when they were in battle, when they were fighting. Didn't talk about that. I'm talking about when Saurfang was on his back, when he took his last breath, when Sylvanas was talking all kinds of hot shit. At that point, the Makara is over.
By Anduin. Anduin took hard lessons from the war. As an example, sometimes that violence is necessary. But with that came an obsession with Sylvanas from the Alliance. Obviously, many wanted her to face justice. Anduin had some opportunities, but he thought that she could change. She eventually fled to Northrend. Anduin chased her. His faith in the light may be put to the side. Some void was even used by Alliance forces to torture innocent orcs for information. At the end of a novel, we even see Anduin have a flicker of void energy, where otherwise you would have expected light.
Before I speak on the void stuff, dude, again, art team, bro, this is incredible. The art in this game. All right, let me go back.
To torture innocent orcs for information. At the end of a novel, we even see Anduin have a flicker of void energy, where otherwise you would have expected light from the young king priest. He bent the Alliance's military into finding her. But while this was happening, Anduin was losing himself. Of course, Sylvanas would not be found. She made her way to Bolvar, she defeated the Lich King.
Yeah, Bolvar did become the Lich King. Okay, so it was Bolvar who raised Anduin after the disappearance of Varian. And thus he became the... And it was also Bolvar... Wait, restart. It was Bolvar who became the Lich King, but it was also Bolvar who raised Anduin after the disappearance of Varian. Because of everything with Nixia. Okay, it's piecing together the puzzle. It's a big puzzle.
Helm. And quite soon after, Anduin and others were kidnapped. He was taken from where he thought he was safe, in his own city at Lion's Rest, right by his own father's grave. He was taken to Torghast and put in shackles.
Bro, what is wrong with this game, bro? I think this is even more disrespectful than Garrosh dumping an entire bell on him. The fact that Sylvanas kidnapped this man by his father's grave in his own city. I would think that because like there's a mage quarters in Stormwind, that they would have like some kind of barrier over the entire city. The disrespect, bro. Kidnap the king of Stormwind while he's there at his father's grave. And the reason why he's kind of there was because, you know, Sylvanas and the Horde kind of retreated on the Broken Isles. Broken Isles? Iron Isles? What was it? Shadow Isles? One of those isles. One of those. Bro, how disrespectful is this game, bro? Like, I dig it. Like, I like it. But, bro, that's... This game really don't care. Like, this game really doesn't give a fuck. Like, I like it. I dig it, man. This is incredible. Like, it's tragic and it's horrible to do that. Like, like I kind of wish we had these kind of like disrespectful moments in Final Fantasy, like a little bit more. This is, bro, your AWP just ran up on you, and just kidnap you.
And quite soon after, Anduin and others were kidnapped. He was taken from where he thought he was safe, in his own city at Lion's Rest, right by his own father's grave. He was taken to Torghast and
in his own city, by his father's grave.
Obsessed with Anduin as well. As it turns out, Anduin quite resembled her younger deceased brother. But if she could break this...
Oh. Anduin was friend-zoned. Interesting.
Idealistic young king, then Azeroth could be hers, so she thought. But as much as she wanted that, something inside her knew Anduin's light represented a hope she was not...
Bro, who was worse, bro? Sylvanas or Garrosh? Like, let me know. Let me know down in the comments below. This... Huh. I mean, because... what Garrosh did in... what was that? Miss Pandaria. You know, cracking a bell in over Anduin, essentially trying to kill him. And leaving the player to tell that, hey... to tell Varian that, hey, I killed your son. Versus Sylvanas kidnapping the man in his own city next to his father. His father's grave. World of Warcraft, bro.
Not allowed to have. And this is something she kind of hated. Maybe she wanted to snuff it out. Maybe she wanted to steal it. But what she didn't want was the jailer to just control Anduin with domination magic. She actually thought she was right, and she wanted to...
okay, so Anduin was controlled with domination magic. Huh.
Win him to her side. Of course, the jailer, a strange god creature who doesn't care about mortal emotions, just dominated him. Controlled him, gave him a Mournblade, put him into rune armor that bound his body and sent him out to do his bidding. Anduin's soul was torn. Everything...
I don't know. That was a spoiler. But I mean,
about him was
I knew I signed up for.
The jailer, suppressed. The only thing that remained was the cold thrill of the domination magic. He was made to do horrible things, but he was inside the whole time. Imagine a nightmare that feels completely real that you cannot wake up from. And then imagine yourself doing horrible, unspeakable things in that nightmare, being horrified, disgusted at what you've done, but actually feeling a sense of power from it. And a little bit of you liking that power. That is what happened to Anduin. And that completely destroyed his confidence.
This is Trade. He used our trading robot and passed 3
Bro, I was getting into it, bro.
$100,000 challenge and got fun.
Confidence and his self-perception. Of course, we would free Anduin. Sylvanas was free. She had her trial. She was banished to the Maw. But before leaving the
now she's doing dailies.
lands, Anduin met her one last time. Even after everything that was done to him, the trauma fresh in his mind, he did something that only Anduin could do. He empathized with her position. After the feeling of experiencing domination.
Wait. He empathized with their position. I don't think Sylvanas was controlled by the. Like, I don't know. Matter of fact, never mind. Don't spoil that.
Magic, and knowing that the only thing that awaited Sylvanas was eternal damnation in the Maw, he actually empathized with her.
Doing dailies, bro.
Wrong, but he still saw the wounded, afraid.
Again, once I get to retail, I need to see how bad doing dailies are, because apparently they are so bad that Sylvanas was just ridden to a life of doing dailies eternally in the Maw.
And under all the Banshee's bluster, and while it was via different means, we should also remember that she was living under a similar situation to Varian's father all those years ago, as Varian was split into two people, someone with ego, who was bad with money, who was arrogant, and then someone who embodied, yes, many of Varian's great tropes, but also his capacity for having a vicious, warlike nature. Neither Varian was complete. So it seems obvious that Anduin would understand this about Sylvanas. But even with that, Anduin felt he couldn't return to life. He left the throne, turned away from Gen and Bane, as well as everyone he had forged bonds with. He was rumored to be staying in taverns. He was spotted in various locations, but clearly did not want to be found. Then the vision started. Not long after
Okay, and here we are.
Mirdrasil, a voice began to call out from the heart of our world, a voice that eventually would drive him to Silithus, where he would meet Thrall and where destiny would step back into his life.
Holy.
Setting us up for the World Soul Saga and the new, more gristled struggle.
Bro, I need to really catch up, because I doubt that I'll be there for this, though I want to be. There's just 20 years of content, bro. 20 years of content.
Struggling through his problems, Anduin, that we see in the key art for the War Within. And with that, we have our one video summary of the story of Anduin. If you've not really known what's been up with this character, if you missed an expansion or two, if you're a newer player to the game, you don't know the old lore from the comics.
Bro, that was good.
Split. I hope today's video has been enjoyable and helped you understand what's going on in the game. So that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see some more lore, I think you should check out this one. It's about all the stuff you need to know before we enter the next expansion from a lore perspective, and I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, I'll see you over there.
Nice.
Goodbye.
Okay, so basically, from my understanding, yeah, Anduin has lived a pretty shit life. From everything with his dad, with his mom being killed, being essentially dominated by the jailer, which, I mean, because Anduin has had like such a rough start ever since he was a kid, I need to really see how that compares with Varian and other members of this actual universe. Because when I was listening to the bald man say how Anduin, he just cries a lot. He's soft, he's this, he's that. I mean, this is ultimately what kind of sparked me to actually check out Anduin to see what he's been going through. I don't know everything that he did in Shadowlands. Apparently he butchered some important people. Apparently, he kind of enjoyed that sense of power. So I understand that. Matter of fact, let me show you guys something. Okay, if you guys have not seen Jujutsu Kaisen, watch Jujutsu Kaisen. This is season 2. This will be a little bit of a spoiler. Now, I'll try to condense this as much as possible. But basically, the main character, Yuji, he was fed Sukuna's fingers. Sukuna is the ultimate bad that kind of lives in Yuji and kind of freed him against his will. The thing that I kind of really see with Anduin in Yuji is not like a one-to-one comparison. But with Sukuna and Yuji, I mean, I'll play it in a second. It'll explain much better than I can explain. But ultimately, with Yuji being the main character, he's of course the main, I guess, anime protagonist, shonen protagonist. Like, wants to help people, wants to save people, but then you got this evil living inside him that does horrific things. And from time to time, like, he'll swap. From time to time, Sukuna will take over his body, do horrible things, swap back to Yuji, and Yuji is left kind of like with that trauma. I kind of see the same with Anduin. I'll kind of show you guys. Again, watch this anime. Watch this anime. Malevolent Shrine. Here we go. Domain expansion. Malevolent Shrine.
宿儺の領域福間水氏これは他とは異な
Bro, the most butched up thing about the Shibuya arc is that Sukuna did all of this. He leveled an entire city. An entire city full of people that Yuji was trying to save. That's the crazy part, bro. Absolutely erased everyone. Absolutely demolished. Bro, Sukuna is like just an agent of chaos, bro. Bro, and another crazy fact is that this was just a Tuesday for him. This was just a Tuesday. Fuga. Bro, nuked an entire city, bro. Bro, listen to what this bastard says, bro. Leveled an entire city. An entire city. And left Yuji standing there just to see the work that he did. And again, the thing is, Yuji, he remembers doing all of this, bro. He was, of course, it's his body. So while Sukuna was doing all of this, bro, he knew, he felt it. Bro, it's like almost like, imagine, bro. I think that was, yeah. Bro, see that? That's a man whose spirit has been literally broken. So, I definitely do see the comparisons with Yuji and Anduin. But again, it's not a one-to-one. But there are like heavy similarities. He's, just the devastation, man. That pain, that trauma. Damn. And again, guys, if you guys haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen, bro, please watch this. Please watch this anime. Bro, the Shibuya incident. They just gave the they just gave the animators the budget and said, you know what, man, have fun. Just go ahead and treat yourselves, bro. The animators literally asked, you know, how much do we have to spend on the Shibuya incident, bro? And the CEO just came back and just said yes. just said yes, because like people were hyping up that arc for the manga for so long, and to finally see it animated, it was just something special. It was just something special. So again, going back to Anduin and Ryuji, I'm gonna give like an extreme example. Say you were like a police officer. Well, say you were like a police, not exactly a police. What's the word I'm looking for? What do they call it? Like those people who like rescue kids from like trafficking and whatnot. I forget what those special units are called. I don't want to say SWAT. It's not really SWAT. Regardless, say if you were one of those kind of people. You was, someone who like saves kids. Like that was your job. That was what you did for a living. Like ever since you joined the academy and everything. And say, just hypothetically, because I know it can't. Hopefully, it's not a reality yet. But say you were like mind controlled by like a trafficker. Again, I don't think humans can be controlled like that, but if they can, then hey, the government is going to have quite a field day. But say you were controlled by a trafficker, and say you were made to do, horrible things to little kids, to, molest them, rape them, torture them. And the thing is, you spent like your whole career saving these kids, only to have someone like kind of undo all that. And say you were kind of like in that state of mind for like a year, 2 years, doing these horrible things. And eventually, a unit, like a different, like a rescue unit came like after that 2 years and kind of like rescued you out of that mindset. And at the end of all of it, you would be a completely different person, because at one point, while you were under that influence and kind of mind controlled, you kind of enjoyed in the things you were partaking in. Let's say, hypothetically, you enjoyed, doing all those things to little kids. You would come out of it quite different. So I kind of see and again, that's like a hyperbolical, extreme, kind of situation. But I kind of see where Anduin is kind of coming from. Being that he was just kind of arbiter for peace and diplomatic, and he was kind of made to do horrific things under the actual usage of that domination magic. So I get it, man. And to go through all of that again, I don't know everything that that Anduin has done, but to go through all of that and to kind of enjoy that power, to kind of enjoy that, it really challenges who you are as a person. So I think Anduin in that state is just more so lost than anything else. But that's what I got from it, guys. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that reaction. Matter of fact, speaking of which, I need to also, let me get out of this. I need to subscribe to the boy Bellular Gaming. That's the Reckoning. Let me hit that subscribe button. I need to actually subscribe. What do you guys think about Anduin, man? Do you guys think he's a crybaby? Do you guys think he's soft? I mean, I just think he's a guy who's had who's like everything he's ever known, like completely just flipped upside down. So, but let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoyed, please make sure to give this video a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.